Well, are you seeing more things like e-scooters, e-bikes, and other e-devices on our streets? Well, the Westshore RCMP seem to have seen that uptick, and they are issuing a reminder about the rules of the road for those devices. Corporal Nancy Saggar with the Westshore RCMP joining us on the line right now. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me this morning.
Great to get you here. So you are seeing more of these things, eh?
We are, yes. And I think in particular what we're seeing more of is the e-scooters. I personally believe it's probably because it's the most affordable out of all the sort of micro-mobility, bikes that are out there. The e-scooter seems to be on the rise.
Tons of those things. But there are different rules and regulations, and in some cases, they're not even allowed. So there's a lot to unpack here. So let's go through what we need to know about all of these e-devices and how to be safe with them and follow the rules.
Yeah, for sure. So how about we start off with e-scooter, because that seems to be kind of on the rise here. Okay. So e-scooters are only allowed in communities participating in the pilot project, and I'm not sure if everyone's quite aware of that. So on Vancouver Island, and it's great if you go to actually the BC government website, because it'll lay out all the areas that you can ride your e-scooter on. So here in the Westshore, you can ride your e-scooter in Colwood, Langford, and View Royal. The municipalities of Highlands and Metchosin are not a part of the pilot project, so you cannot ride your e-scooter there. So it's important to understand where you can and cannot ride it. Next thing I would say is you need to be 16 years or older in order to ride an e-scooter. They can only be maximum 25 kilometers an hour. That's the maximum speed that they can go. And they can only weigh up to 45 kilograms. You must wear a helmet with them, and you need to follow the rules of the road, just like how a bike would. So you're going to be riding in the bike lane.
Now, I want to go back for a second to that pilot project story that you talked about, how, in BC, not everywhere allows them. Municipalities have to opt in, I guess, to this pilot project. And for the Westshore, you said, just to clarify, it's Langford, Colwood, and View Royal is where you're allowed to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So yeah, communities have to opt in. So if you're curious about where you can and can't ride, we highly encourage you visit the government BC website. Just type in e-scooter, where can I ride, and you'll be able to click on it and see the list.
Now, what happens if you, because you're Westshore RCMP, you will be policing areas that don't allow them, are not in the pilot project. Is this something you actually enforce? Like, will you pull somebody over if you see them on an e-scooter in the Highlands?
Yeah, absolutely. We will, for sure. So the rules of the road apply here. The Motor Vehicle Act applies, and you could be fined. Your device could also be impounded. You could face penalties just like any other unlicensed driver could. So it's important to understand where you can't ride and then follow those rules.
Nancy, I have an e-scooter, Segway 9-bot, and its max is 30. And on the Galloping Goose, there actually, I think, is signage saying that 30 is the maximum speed you can do. I was under the impression that it was 30, not 25. Does that vary between communities?
I think it varies between, so Galloping Goose is not a roadway. Right. So I think that's the major difference there.
Okay, so that would be for e-bikes we're talking about then, for maximum speed. Okay.
Yeah, so maximum speed is going to be e-bikes, 32 kilometers an hour for an e-bike. For an e-scooter, it's 25 kilometers an hour. So there's a difference there. It seems slight, 7 kilometers doesn't seem like a lot, but on an e-scooter it is. So again, just knowing the difference between, e-scooters, you're only allowed 25 kilometers an hour. E-bikes, if it's a standard e-bike and you're 16 years and older, you can go up to 32 kilometers an hour. If you're between the ages of 14 and 16, you're only allowed to ride a light e-bike, and it can only go up to 25 kilometers an hour.
Right.
Oh, so there's an age difference there for e-bikes.
There's an age. Yeah, there's an age difference for e-bikes. And I think that's designed really with safety in mind. 32 kilometers an hour, it's quite fast. I mean, if you're telling me you have your own e-bike there, so I'm sure
I have an e-scooter.
Oh, sorry, e-scooter.
Yeah.
So I'm sure, if even just going down the trail at probably 20 probably feels fast. And another good safety point with e-scooters to keep in mind is that they're lower to the ground than a bike would be.
Mm-hmm.
So any small divot in the roadway or like a pothole or a rock that you go over, you've got the potential there of really knocking yourself off of that thing. We've seen it happen.
Yeah, it's not the kind of thing that you want to be anywhere on rough terrain, for sure.
Exactly. And so really just even you don't want to go that fast on it either, just because of that, right? The faster you are, the harder you will fall and further you'll fall if you do end up taking a tumble. So it's important to follow that rule.
I'm seeing a lot without proper gear, and I know legally the only thing that you have to wear is a bicycle helmet. I'm also seeing a lot of children. I'm seeing a lot of under 16 on them. So is it hard to police?
It is, yeah. It's. I'm not going to say it doesn't come without its challenges. I mean, when you're let's just go with the e-scooter example again, because that's what we're seeing a lot of as well. We've gotten lots of complaints from our municipalities of seeing young people appearing to be under the age of 16 on e-scooters. And so our message to parents would be, you need to understand what the rules are here before you're buying these items for your children. They can be very dangerous for people who are younger, which is why those rules are in place. And also, frankly, it's illegal. You're not allowed to drive it unless you're 16 years or older. So we could ticket the parent in that case. It's something that, it's not something we want to do, but if it comes down to it, it could happen. We can also take that e-scooter and confiscate it if it's not being driven in a manner that's compliant with the road rules. That's something that can also happen.
I want to just recap a few of those and then get to at least one more with RCMP Corporal Nancy Saggar. So just to recap, so e-scooters, the scooters specifically, only the communities with the pilot project is where they're allowed. They're not allowed everywhere, so make sure you know before you go that you're allowed to ride it, and you have to be 16 plus, and you can't go faster than 25 kilometers an hour on the roads. For the e-bikes, so the bicycles, they can go anywhere. They're allowed anywhere. They don't have that pilot project thing, as long as they're where, normal bikes could ride. And you do have that age limit of 14 plus for the light e-bikes, 16 plus for the standard normal ones. And then there are other bikes that are electric that are a bit more robust. There's the e-dirt bikes and e-mini motorcycles that exist. Now, I'm seeing here that those are just not allowed on our roadways at all.
Yeah, so the e-dirt bike is not allowed on roads, sidewalks, or bike lanes. They're not even legal. There's not really an age for people to be on them on public roads. So it's not like an e-scooter. It's not like an e-bike. So essentially, they're not legal. It's
right.
kind of a hard.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a carte blanche. If we catch you, we're gonna probably take it.
Okay.
And you'll likely wind up with some fines.
Gotcha. Because I guess you could take those off on like dirt bike trails or something somewhere, maybe, but they're not on the road.
Exactly. Yeah. So private property, a lot of people out here own private property. Sure. It's much like a quad in that regard. You could probably ride it around on your property, but it's not permitted on roadways.
Well, I think that's all very fascinating because I think a bunch of people don't know that there's these rules and restrictions and that you could get pulled over, fined, ticketed, maybe even get your bike confiscated if you don't do it properly when it comes to these things known as micro-mobility devices, electronic bicycles, scooters, the dirt bikes, all of these things, different rules. Fascinating to unpack all of that here. Thank you so much for doing it. And if people want to find out more, I think you've got some more information available, don't you?
Yes, we do. Yeah. So you can head over to our website and we'll be putting up some information on where you can ride, how old you need to be, how fast you can go. We've already shared some of that information too. So, and again, if you're looking for even more information, head on over to the government BC website and just type in, e-scooter or e-bike and you'll find the whole list of rules there.